it was necessary that French poet Arthur Rimbaud claimed the concept of negritude, that Picasso was shaken by an African mask from Ivory Coast, and that French writer Apollinaire sung the wooden fetishes before the art of the West would agree after 2000 years to abandon the physios mimesis, that is to say, the imitation of nature. Those strong words from Léopold Sédar Senghor, the first president of the Republic of Senegal, were pronounced during his opening speech of the Colloquium of Negro Arts as a prelude to an unprecedented event in the cultural history of the African continent. The first African Festival of Negro Arts, or FESMAN, which was held from the 1st to 24th of April 1966. Its main theme was function and importance of Negro and African arts for the people and in the life of the people. The flight of the Sankofa today on this 22nd of April lands in Dakar in Senegal in the middle of the FESMAN celebrations. Neighborhoods have been cleaned, hotels have been built, a dynamic museum has even been set up to accommodate what must be the Pan-African meeting. So welcome to all of you. Take your pass and follow me through the alleys of this festival where the reconquest of the dignity of black people was said to be the main objective. What a program!
African History Daily by my daddy.
The idea of this festival was first proposed in 1956 at the Conference of Black Writers in Rome, organized by the Senegalese Alioune Diop. First planned in 1961, the festival was postponed several times and was finally held in Dakar in 1966. Dakar then represented this hope of African people of returning to their roots. This festival brought together in the same place artists, politicians and intellectuals from 37 emerging countries for the defense and illustration of the concept of negritude. They competed in 8 disciplines. Among the participants were the Emperor of Ethiopia, Haile Selassie, the fathers of the negritude concept, Aimé Césaire and Léon Gontran Damas from the French Guiana, international artists such as Josephine Baker, Marion Williams, and Duke Ellington. Multiple shows, street fairs, and conferences have animated the city for more than 3 weeks. Several awards were attributed, including the Grand Prize of Negro Arts, awarded to the artist Christian Latier from Côte d'Ivoire. The award of the writer who has most influenced the black thinking in the 20th century went to the Senegalese Egyptologist and historian Cheikh Anta Diop. However, despite the apparent perfection of a popular celebration, the critics around this first festival were numerous. A large part of the African population in general and Senegalese specifically saw in these festivities a flagrant elitism, too much connivance with the former colonizer, and President Senghor's deafening silence on the real Pan-African demand. These criticisms are based on 3 main elements. The first element is the contrast between FESMAN, this festival, and another conference named the Tricontinental, which took place 3 months before the FESMAN. It was a solidarity conference of the people of Asia, Latin America, and Africa, which took place in Havana, with 600 delegates and 87 organizations, and had strong political objectives such as the fight against imperialism and the unification of the oppressed people. Then the second reason is President Senghor's policy facing the street when 2 months before the FESMAN, in February 1966, the streets of Dakar are boiling. A coup d'etat has just overthrown in neighboring Ghana the nationalist and father of African Pan-Africanism, Kwame Nkrumah's government. Students demonstrated massively against neocolonialism and the French presence, initiating one of the most important riots in Senegalese modern history. Finally, as a third reason, the financial compromission of FESMAN organizers who received funding from the United States, then segregationist, from France, the former settler, and from Russia in the middle of Cold War. Far too much propaganda for a festival that wanted to celebrate the return to Africanism and independence. I wonder if those reasons are the causes of the relatively low attendance of this festival, with only 20,000 visitors. This low attendance created a financial deficit of about $300,000 to the point where the festival commissioner, Suleiman Sidibe, has to justify that there is no deficit when it comes to cultural matters and that the results of this festival have more value than all the billions of this world. Well, maybe the organizer and Mr. Suleiman Sidibe should have thought about that first before accepting the millions from propaganda. That would have saved the organizers from losing such a big opportunity of a founding moment of black consciousness and to mark history way more than they did. My African cliché of the day is a sad figure. Only 2 editions of this festival took place after the first one. It was in 1977 in Nigeria, then in Senegal again in 2010. Only 2 editions. So why are countries scrambling more to organize beauty contests for women or African national football cups than to organize this kind of meaningful festivals? Yet, 43 years after the first edition, black arts in non-African countries is still undervalued in the world. And the international public is almost completely unaware of artists, writers, painters, sculptors, dancers, actors, filmmakers, and African artisans. I guess I'm wondering, when is a truly Pan-African edition of this festival going to happen? Well, it's up to the African Union people in Addis Ababa to look into it, and up to you, dear friends, to think about your own cliché on the importance of celebrating our African culture. And I look forward to seeing you on the next Sankofa flight for new readings of the African history. Thank you.